Chapter 1951, Deadlock. No matter how strong Duke Long is, he is only one person. Charge. We will attack together. Heavenly Court's defensive line is so wide. Let's see how he will defend it. Wu Yong shouted, his sharp gaze containing a trace of restlessness. Duke Long's astonishing performance had already triggered subtle changes in people's hearts. He could not let him act so unbridled. Wu Yong controlled Clear Jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building and took the lead. This move immediately made the immortal goo houses around him start attacking once again. Duke Long snorted. He suddenly disappeared and appeared to block Wu Yong's path. His expression was grim and was about to attack Clear Jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building when Dragon Palace also attacked him. Immortal killer move. Dreamy light smoke. Duke Long stared with wide eyes as he had no choice but to dodge point one skill to dominate the world. Facing the Dream Path killer move, no matter how strong he was, Duke Long did not dare to test it. His evasion immediately made Wu Shuai, Wu Yong and others let out a sigh of relief. Duke Long's mighty image that gave a feeling of being invincible was broken by this action. The three regions' immortals' falling spirits became concentrated again. Fortunately, he dodged it. Thin beads of sweat covered Wu Shuai's head. Dreamy light smoke might be a Dream Path killer move, but it had a limited strength. Facing such a powerful Duke Long, it was like using a small fish net to capture a giant shark. Duke Long could not resist Dream Path killer moves. The giant shark could definitely be trapped, but what about after that? The shark would struggle to break free and could tear the small fish net. Back to the present. Even if Wu Shuai captured Duke Long, it was far beyond Dragon Palace's ability to force such a powerful expert inside the palace, let alone suppress him. The final conclusion might very well be Dragon Palace crumbling apart, while Duke Long would be temporarily trapped inside a dream realm. But there was Feng Jinhuang who could deal with dream realms and quickly rescue Duke Long.So. Wu Shuai's move was only a bluff. Duke Long took the bait because he was not aware of this Dream Path killer move's details. This was also why Goo Immortals kept their killer moves hidden and would not display them easily. And when they showed their killer moves several times, they would actively modify them. Duke Long retreated. The three regions' immortals led a massive attack once again under Wu Yong's lead, using this opportunity to gather and attack. Humph, besides Lord Duke Long, Heavenly Court also has us. You will definitely pay for underestimating us. With us around, don't even think of succeeding. At the crucial moment, Zhu Ke Bai Tsang Shui, Zhao Shan He and others of Heavenly Court's main force stepped forward, welcoming the violent attacks without fearing death. A bunch of old geezers. How much time do you even have left? Hua Kai Yun sneered. Countless thunder clouds shot out from beside her. Boom, boom, boom. The thunder clouds detonated ahead of time. They were all accurately intercepted by Yu Zhuzi. How much time? We never cared. As long as we have a breath of life in us, we will crawl out from our graves. Yu Zhuzi shouted and pushed forward the back of his hand. A large patch of jade powder flew forward like fog. Retreat. Facing the unknown killer move, Hua Kaiyin did not dare to test it and immediately retreated to be on the safe side. We will never lose this battle. Do you know why? Zhou Xiong Xian wore a white robe and had thick eyebrows and a square face. He used information path methods, shooting out countless white arrows. Because since 3 million years ago, we have always been the pioneers of the eras, the backbone of humanity, the heroes of Central Continent. We will never forget the disgrace of becoming slaves to variant humans. We will never forget that peace is something we have fought for using our lives. And we will never forget that the happiness of the people needs to be guarded by each generation. As for you, you are petty people who don't care about endangering humanity for your selfish interests. Short-sighted fools who cannot even see the future. Come, no matter what methods you have, no matter how many times you attack, you will only receive defeat. Zhou Xiong Xian shouted loudly. His endless arrows became stronger with his words. Using attack as defense, the arrows forced back 5 elements Grandmaster, Yihao Feng, and other rank 8s. They could only prioritize defense. The offense they had just started as well as their morale shrank rapidly. Look, this is our Heavenly Court's perseverance. Zhu Ke and Prince Feng Xian combined their skills. Flames surged and formed a completely new defensive line. firmly blocking the charge of several rank 7 immortal goo houses. Humph, a bunch of babbling geezers. The immortal graveyard is already destroyed now. After killing you, let me see who else will stand up in heavenly court. A famous expert in Northern Plains history, Lu Hui had just finished speaking when he felt his vision darken. Duke Long suddenly appeared right before him. Boom. Immortal killer move. Dragon claw strike. Lu Hui's whole body let out a bright green light. His defensive killer move was activated with full power. But it only lasted for a second before it shattered. His whole body was slashed into pieces. Lu Hui died immediately from Duke Long's one attack. 5 Elements Grandmaster and others quickly retreated in fright, entering their respective sides' immortal goo houses. Duke Long swept his gaze around the battlefield and shouted, "You colluded with the otherworldly demon and attempted to overthrow heavenly court. You are all traitors to humanity. You don't understand. Even if we battle to the death, our 3 chi will still remain. This is the grand chi of humanity. It will last forever with mountains and the land itself." Triple chi retraction. Boom. A huge explosion sounded. The whole sky turned dark. 3 chi flocked and gathered into Duke Long's body from all areas of heavenly court. Duke Long's translucent blazing chi expanded wildly, giving a heart-shaking feeling to everyone. Immortal killer move. Great chi hand explosion. Duke Long stretched his left arm and spread his 5 fingers. His palm pointed towards a rank 7 immortal goo house. The next moment, he clenched his left hand. Bam! Great chi exploded. The rank 7 immortal goo house split into pieces, exploding into countless fragments. Immortal goo were all destroyed. The goo immortals inside also met with calamity. None survived, and only bones, blood, and meat pulp were left behind. The 3 regions' goo immortals were horrified and stupefied. Heavenly Court's side cheered loudly. This is Heavenly Court's power. Inside Demon Judgment Board, Qin Ding Ling's eyes shined brightly. Feng Zheng, however, was silent as he was shaken mentally. The shock was not only to Duke Long's strength. There was also a kind of turbulence going on in his mind at this moment. Feng Zheng began to understand the spirit of Heavenly Court's goo immortals. Yes. Feng Zheng thought inwardly. If there were no Heavenly Court in history, could there be the current human race? Generations of Heavenly Court goo immortals cleared away obstacles with their blood, making countless sacrifices to bring about the rule of humanity. Comparatively, Fang Yuan and these people disregard the big picture. Destroying fake goo is giving the variant humans a chance to rise up. They are indeed traitors to humanity. Swish! Right at this time, a sword light pierced through the battlefield, bringing forth a soft sound and a bloody figure. Zhu Kei'er slowly fell to the ground like a sparrow whose wings were cut. Her body was directly slashed into 2 halves. Immortal killer move. 5-finger fist heart sword. It was Fang Yuan. He was sinisterly roaming at the edge of the battlefield in his immemorial sword dragon form. Fang Yuan. Heavenly Court's immortals were furious. Fang Yuan sneered. "I am here for my own interests. I don't give a damn about what you are. You can be noble or insignificant for all I care. Today, I will destroy fake goo. I will kill whoever dares to stop me. If an immortal blocks me, I will slay the immortal. If a demon comes, I will slaughter the demon in my way. Heavenly Court, since you obstruct my path, you will meet with the same outcome. Demon, you need to be executed. Kill him. Murderer, I will crush you to pieces." Heavenly Court's immortals cursed. Roar. Dizong Sheng recovered and collided into the defensive line again. Dragon Palace cooperated and used dreamy light smoke. Wherever the Dream Path killer move went, Heavenly Court's goo immortals evaded. Feng Jiu gave a light sigh, activating a killer move and turning it into a Song Warrior. The Song Warrior threw itself into the dreamy light smoke. Dreamy light smoke thus had no more offensive ability and returned like a python that had eaten its fill. Feng Jiu could not directly break the Dream Path killer move, but he was able to block it by using this method. Destiny Song resounded once again. Dizong Sheng roared discontentedly, but was without options, and was once again suppressed by Feng Jiu. Far away, Spectral Soul and his servants had already arrived in front of a treasury. Looking back at the battlefield, Fairy Ziwei sighed. "I did not think triple chi retraction still had this use. Duke Long's battle strength has risen to an astonishing level. Adding on Feng Jiuji's assistance, Heavenly Court's defensive line looks to be on the verge of collapse, but is actually able to keep on lasting. According to overall strength, Heavenly Court was naturally stronger, but they had to defend Heaven Overseeing Tower and were thus extremely passive. Even Duke Long was shackled by this. Duke Long could easily kill rank 8 Gu Immortals or rank 7 Immortal Gu houses, and Fang Yuan could similarly kill Heavenly Court members easily by using 5-finger fist heart sword. Duke Long had to leave the defensive line and choose to fight Fang Yuan far away. If these two were allowed to attack the other side's Gu Immortals, Fang Yuan would not feel even a little heartache, but Heavenly Court needed enough manpower to defend the place. Duke Long would never let Fang Yuan continue his slaughter. On the contrary, if Fang Yuan endured Duke Long's attacks, wholeheartedly attacking Heavenly Court's main force was also an option. But if he chose to do this, he would have to bear Duke Long's heavy attacks. Fang Yuan was not willing to do this. After all, he and the other 3 regions' Gu Immortals allied only because of the situation. Sacrificing himself for them was too stupid and too risky. Thus, Fang Yuan and Duke Long pinned down each other. Feng Jiugu instead became the core of the battle. He took charge of Heaven Overseeing Tower's defense, while blocking Dragon Palace and Dizongsham. His battle strength surpassed both enemies' and allies' expectations time and again. Old man Zheng Yuan narrowed his eyes. Now, we just have to see who can break the stalemate. The crucial point is fake Gu. Heavenly Court has already harvested the success Dao marks, but the refinement path Gu formation is destroyed. Can Yuan Xiongdu alone be able to restore fake Gu in time? Master, if we interfere now, can't we seize fake Gu? Spectral Soul laughed. What will we gain by snatching it? Don't think that they are fighting with all they have got. They are still holding back. There is more to this situation than meets the eye. The past venerables have gotten involved in this battle. We will talk after plundering this treasury and getting back the door of life and death. Yes, Master. Chapter 1952, Responsibility and Sacrifice. On the side of a sect's mountain, the landscape was green. Clear water flowed by it, and birds chirping could be heard. Little Do, what are you lying on the ground for? A gentle and soft voice could be heard. Senior sister. The young Yuan Xiongdu opened his eyes and saw a girl bending over to look at him with her bright and smiling eyes. The girl's gaze moved to Little Do's hand and let out a gasp. Wah! Little Do, you refined a rank 3 Gu again. You are really amazing. But I am not happy. You know I don't like cultivating refinement path. Yuan Xiongdu stood up while mumbling. Don't be so dispirited. Your talent is envied by so many people. The girl patted his shoulder and consoled. But Yuan Xiongdu was still dispirited and his head slumped forward. Ha! How about this? I will share a secret with you. Few days ago, I found clues to a Gu master inheritance in my father's study room. It is hidden at some corner of the mountain. What do you think? Do you want to search for it? Senior sister's beautiful gaze turned towards Yuan Xiongdu as expected. Teenage Yuan Xiongdu could not endure boredom. His eyes brightened when he heard what was said. There is such a fun thing? Wonderful. Our sect's mountain has inheritances left behind by predecessors after all. Gu immortal inheritances are extremely rare, but Gu master inheritances are plentiful. Tell me the clues quickly, senior sister. Okay. The clue is a line of a poem. I have been pondering about it these few days. I will read it to you. Senior sister did not conceal it, and this was only a Gu master inheritance. Her father was also Yuan Xiongdu's master, a Gu immortal existence. Yuan Xiongdu clapped his hands after hearing it just once. I understand. The clue is solved like this. Match the first and last characters, then match second and the second last characters. It gives us a location. Senior sister pondered for a bit and jumped with joy. So it is there. Little Do, you are really smart. You guessed it immediately. Let's go find it quickly. Yuan Xiongdu moved ahead. Wait for me. Senior sister quickly followed. Don't worry, senior sister. I will give this inheritance to you. I won't snatch it from you, ha. Yuan Xiongdu's figure disappeared into the depths of the mountain forest. Finally, the two found the inheritance inside a mountain cave. This is a fire path inheritance. Yuan Xiongdu and his senior sister inspected the inheritance carefully. Will flame? A fire that uses will as the fuel. This method is quite original and stunning. How did the Gu master who created it think of this? Interesting. This name. How could it be master? Yuan Xiongdu was extremely surprised. Senior sister also felt surprised, saying uncertainly, they might just have the same name? Yuan Xiongdu, however, pondered and his eyes shone. Maybe not. Senior sister, I remember you saying that you found this clue in Master's study room. Yes, I was tidying up Father's bamboo scrolls. You know my father's hobby is to collect these antiques. And by chance, a bamboo stick slipped from an aged scroll, and on it was the inheritance clue. Senior sister recalled her memory. This inheritance was set up by me when I was young. Right at this time, Yuan Xiongdu's master slowly walked into the cave and appeared before Yuan Xiongdu. Walking alongside him was Yuan Xiongdu's sect uncle, who was short in stature, had a round face, and looked amiable. Yuan Xiongdu and his senior sister quickly bowed and greeted at the same time. We pay respects to master, father, and sect uncle. Yuan Xiongdu curled up his lips. Master, are you making fun of your disciples? Of course not. His master shook his head, looking at the inheritance in Yuan Xiongdu's hand with a trace of reminiscence. Ha! You clever brat. The fat sect uncle pointed at Yuan Xiongdu. Your master and I just returned from Spirit Resonance Peak. We were just chatting along the way when we discovered your traces. I can guarantee that this inheritance was indeed left by your master during his youth. He wholeheartedly liked Fire Path back then and used 5 years to painstakingly gather primeval stones and purchase a rank 3 Fire Path Gu. But master clearly cultivates Water Path. Yuan Xiongdu's eyes were wide open, having not expected his master also liked Fire Path. Like him, when he was young, there was no other choice. The fat sect uncle sighed. Our sect's Water Path inheritance required an inheritor. How could an individual's preference compare to the sect's situation? Every Gu immortal inheritance needs to be inherited from generation to generation. Every inheritor will improve the inheritance on the foundation of their predecessor, making the inheritance keep up with the times and not be eliminated. This is our responsibility. When your master gave up Fire Path, he personally arranged this inheritance. I was there at that time and saw him crying his eyes out. Cough, cough. Yuan Xiongdu's master interrupted. Since you two discovered this inheritance, then it shall belong to you. Let's go. The two seniors left, leaving behind Yuan Xiongdu and his senior sister in the cave. Junior brother, I cultivate wood path. I don't need this, so I will give it to you. Senior sister also said goodbye to Yuan Xiongdu. Yuan Xiongdu gazed at the inheritance in his hand. Slight waves undulated in his heart as he mumbled. Master. He opened his eyes again. Yuan Xiongdu saw that he was still inside Heaven Overseeing Tower. Damn it. I suffered a backlash during the refinement and fainted. Yuan Xiongdu's heart pounded madly as he recalled the scene. The biggest taboo in Gu refinement was to be disturbed. It did not matter how heavy his injuries were. The main thing was whether fake Gu was alright or not. This was related to the plan that Heavenly Court had been executing for millions of years. Yuan Xiongdu was almost already without hope that he is the only Gu immortal to refine Gu. He had actually fainted. Could fake Gu, that was the target of the refinement, be unharmed? Fake Gu would not be destroyed because of this, but it was very likely that most of the previous restoration results would disappear. It might even return to the original damaged state. Right now, Yuan Xiongdu could only hope fake Gu's situation was slightly better. His and Heavenly Court's countless years of efforts must not go to waste. But when Yuan Xiongdu raised his head to look at fake Gu, he was stunned. What? A lump of fire had taken his place in the Gu refinement. Fake Gu was quietly lying in the fire and was just half a step away from complete recovery. After the shock, warmth surged in Yuan Xiongdu's heart. This was his will flame, a fire which used will as fuel. He had obtained it from his master's inheritance when he was young. Later on, he cultivated refinement path, but did not forget fire path as well. He continued to improve the will flame and developed it to a mortal level. Will flame has already become my most familiar and most skilled Gu refinement method. I probably activated will flame unconsciously when I fainted. Yuan Xiongdu guessed. This was not the first time this happened. In fact, throughout his life, in his countless Gu refinement experiences, there were many times when will flame took his place in emergencies. Every time he was unable to hold on, he would activate Will Flame to temporarily replace him and stabilize the situation. After countless times, using Will Flame at the crucial times had already become his subconscious habit. Yuan Xiongdu let out a breath of air. He looked at the burning Will Flame quietly while thinking. Rather than calling it a habit, more accurately, this is a type of responsibility. He thought of his master and smiled. Responsibility. Master, looks like I haven't disappointed you. Yuan Xiongdu knew his condition. His injuries were too heavy, and he was not able to continue the Gu refinement. But hope was in front of him. He used his last bit of life and willpower to reinforce this lump of Will Flame. Burn, burn more. Yuan Xiongdu mumbled. He used his own life to light the Will Flame. The Will Flame burned quietly. The fire brightened and became extremely stable. Inside the fire, Fake Gu finally moved past the final step. It achieved complete recovery, while Yuan Xiongdu was already lifeless, like his master, like his senior sister, and like the countless Heavenly Court seniors. They had given their blood and sweat for the cause of Heavenly Court, using their own lives to build the foundation of Heavenly Court. He was a true hero even in death. Heavenly Court's foundation, the large central continent, was paved with blood and sacrifices. The Will Flame dissipated. Song Yan's weak laughter resounded in the quiet top floor of Heaven Overseeing Tower. Yuan Xiongdu has already accomplished his task. It is our turn now. But with our state, even transmitting our voices is troublesome, let alone activating Heaven Overseeing Tower. Che Wei said. His tone was quiet and deep. Song Yan replied back almost as if he was not worried. There is still a way. The immortal essence remaining in my aperture is enough for me to activate my trump card. Isn't it so coincidental? Che Wei and Song Yan were close friends. Che Wei immediately realized Song Yan's meaning. Don't do this. If you absorb my injuries, you will die immediately. What is there to fear about death? Right now, our companions are fighting outside. The defensive line is on the verge of collapsing. They probably don't have the chance to send anyone else. Brother Che Wei, we have known each other for many years. Your abilities are stronger than mine. But your journey has not been completed yet. You will soon create your own path. I really look forward to it. But it is such a pity that I won't be able to witness it. As Song Yan spoke lightly, a light blue radiance spread from his body and covered Che Wei. The two Gu immortals had wounds everywhere. Even their bones and flesh were smashed in. But following the blue light's effect, Che Wei's body began to recover, while Song Yan's became more severe. My friend. Che Wei closed his eyes before opening them. Two trails of tears flowed down quietly. Song Yan was dead. Che Wei's injuries were still severe, but he used all his strength to barely crawl towards Fake Gu. Activate, activate. I beg of you. Che Wei's vision turned dark. He poured in all his immortal essence, and could only pray quietly at this point. Chapter 1953, Fang Yuan Falls. A long time seemed to have passed, but it was only an instant. The grand Heaven Overseeing Tower began to slowly let out a pure white light. The light gradually grew brighter and began to rise. Several breaths later, the light shot to the sky and illuminated the whole battlefield like an emperor had descended. The chaotic and violent battlefield paused immediately. Almost all Gu immortals raised their heads and looked towards Heaven Overseeing Tower. The three regions' Gu immortals were pale and ashen, while tears and snot flowed down the faces of Heavenly Court's Gu immortals. Rank 9 Fate Gu has been restored. Yuan Xiongdu did not fail us. He did it. This is too amazing. Heaven Overseeing Tower has returned to its peak state. We have won. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals cheered. Their morale rose to the peak at once. Retreat, retreat. Be it Wu Yong, Yao Huang, or Shun Tsung Sheng, and others, they all shouted to retreat with no intent to battle. Bing Sichuan was still controlling Calamity Luck Altar. He transmitted his voice to Fang Yuan with an unresigned expression. Do something quickly. Fang Yuan's immemorial sword dragon transformation, however, began to retreat rapidly. Duke Long gave up on Fang Yuan and used Dragon Gate to rapidly travel to Heaven Overseeing Tower. Fake Gu, Fake Gu. When he saw the completely intact Fake Gu, he could not restrain his intense emotions anymore. Tears flowed down as if he was released from a heavy burden. The one who had injured Fake Gu back then was his disciple Red Lotus. To make up for this mistake, Duke Long resolved himself and took on the heavy responsibility of restoring Fake Gu. Hong Ting, Master has atoned for your mistake. I did not let down Heavenly Court. I did not let down humanity. Duke Long took deep breaths before he regained his cool. He looked outside the tower with a sharp gaze. Now, it is time for you all to die. Duke Long shouted and activated Heaven Overseeing Tower's strongest offensive method. Immortal Killer Move. Fate Vanquish. Light. Light that filled heaven and earth. It was omnipresent, illuminating the universe and people's hearts in just an instant. All the rank 7 immortal Gu houses in the battlefield crumbled. The Gu immortals inside fortunately survived. Even Calamity Luck Altar and Dragon Palace were in miserable states. Bing Sichuan, Wu Shui, Zhanbu Du, and others immediately used all their efforts in repairing the immortal Gu houses. The surviving historical rank 8 experts of Northern Plains dissipated after the light shone on them. Countless year beasts and swordsmen of Fang Yuan that caused disaster to Heavenly Court were mostly destroyed. Blood flowed like a river. Mao Liqiu's perfect pair killer move was forcefully broken. Dizong Sheng was suppressed to the ground and was actually unable to get up. Immediately, only Fang Yuan's immemorial sword dragon form was completely safe. He was a complete otherworldly demon who could not be targeted by the killer move Fate Vanquish and had a natural immunity towards it. Only you remain now, Fang Yuan. Duke Long stared at the immemorial sword dragon with an intense killing intent and hatred that it was this otherworldly demon that destroyed the immortal graveyard, destroying the largest portion of the millions of years of foundation of Heavenly Court. This sin could not be forgiven. He must suffer a cruel death. Boom. Duke Long flew out of Heaven Overseeing Tower and pierced through the sky towards Fang Yuan. Block him. Stop Fang Yuan. Duke Long roared. His voice resonated throughout the whole Heavenly Court. Destiny song started in time as Fang Yuan's retreating speed fell sharply. Immortal Killer Move. Qi Current Scissors. Duke Long neared and opened his palm. Countless sharp Qi currents formed extremely sharp Qi blades that shrouded Fang Yuan like a storm. Fang Yuan canceled Reverse Flow Protection Seal and charged through the Qi blade's encirclement, leaving behind a bloody trail in the sky. Myriad Year Flying Warship quickly flew over and reunited with Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan stepped on the deck and transformed into the immemorial Year Monkey. He then turned around and waved his arm. Immortal Killer Move. Summer Fan. Wild winds surged, scattering all of the Qi current scissors. Fang Yuan stomped on the deck. Myriad Year Flying Warship gave off a buzzing sound and let out dazzling radiance as it activated a time path killer move. Myriad Year Hunting. Splash, splash, splash. The river of time phantom under Myriad Year Flying Warship continued to bubble. Countless year beasts were summoned once again and participated in the battle, spreading out everywhere. This time, Feng Jiu Go moved ahead of Duke Long. Immortal Killer Move. Submission Song. Immortal Killer Move. Song Warrior. Submission Song's power condensed into human form as it ran amok through the army of countless year beasts. Wherever it went, the year beasts, regardless of strong or weak, betrayed Fang Yuan and submitted to Feng Jiu. Great job. Even Duke Long felt surprised and joyous at this sight. Previously, Feng Jiu had been using Destiny Song mainly to maintain the battlefield and was unable to use other methods. Now that there was a chance, he immediately showed his abundant methods. Duke Long once again neared Myriad Year Flying Warship and used killer moves like World-Shaking Dragon Hammer alternately, destroying Daybreak Swords. Cracks spread in Myriad Year Flying Warship and large numbers of goo worms died instantly. Fang Yuan was forced to retreat again and again. He had to use all his strength to repair Myriad Year Flying Warship while also blocking Duke Long and Feng Jiu's joint attacks. It is our turn to counterattack. Prince Feng Xian led the wave of counterattack that a sharp phoenix cry resounded. His whole body transformed into a phoenix. He spread his wings and flew. Fire burned everywhere he went and turned into a sea of fire. Bai Tsang Shui attacked almost at the same time from the other end of the defensive line. Pale towering waves shot out. Jun Xingguang was like a meteor as he moved across the battlefield. Zhou Xiong Xian was accompanied by fierce information path tigers. Vortex Space Boy and Yi Xiao Zi attacked together. Zhao Shan He and Yu Zhu Zi once again used sitting and eating the mountain empty against the enemy immortal Gu houses. Previously, because of Duke Long's might, the three regions Gu immortals were all withdrawn inside the immortal Gu houses, facing Heavenly Court's wave of counterattacks, Calamity Luck Altar, Dragon Palace, Clear Jade Dripping Wind, Tiny Bamboo Building, and other immortal Gu houses were unable to resist and retreated while fighting. Heavenly Court's side continued to push with Heaven Overseeing Tower and Demon Judgment Board as the cores, continuously reducing the movement area of the three regions Gu immortals. Qin Dingling also flew out of Demon Judgment Board and used all kinds of luck path methods to amplify her side's offenses to the maximum degree. After all, the enemy Gu immortals were hiding inside immortal Gu houses. They could not attack casually and had to use the immortal Gu houses methods. The three regions Gu immortals were forced to retreat again and again. Their conditions were already bad because of Fate Vanquish. Most of the Gu immortals had to concentrate on repairing the immortal Gu houses. They could only endure the beating passively. With no alternatives, Mao Li Qiu, Wu Yong, and some others took the risk to fly out of the immortal Gu houses and fought Heavenly Court's side to strive for precious time for the repair of the immortal Gu houses. Hold on. If we can't hold on now, leaving Heavenly Court will only be wishful thinking. Be careful of Heaven Overseeing Tower, especially Fate Vanquish. How is Fang Yuan's situation? Only he can resist Fate Vanquish. Like in the previous life, the immortals entrusted their hopes to Fang Yuan once again. Despite many of the Gu immortals hating Fang Yuan, the current situation forced them to rely on him. But what disappointed the immortals was that Fang Yuan's situation was also similarly bad. He was being pincer attacked by Feng Jiuge and Duke Long. He was barely resisting the attacks with the help of Myriad Year Flying Warship. The killer move Fate Vanquish with Fate Gu as the core had no effect on Fang Yuan. But Feng Jiuji's Destiny song that was only rank 8 was of an even higher plane. It not only included fate, but also contained luck. Luck was naturally effective against Fang Yuan. Before this, Fang Yuan had used luck path methods many times to help in his cultivation. Destiny Song was effective against Fang Yuan, greatly weakening him, almost offsetting the amplification from Heroes Among People. On the contrary, Duke Long could not enjoy Heroes Among People, but he was empowered by Heavenly Dragon's Last Stand, Triple Chi Retraction, and Destiny Song, increasing his battle strength to an unimaginably shocking level, with Duke Long attacking and Feng Jiuge supporting him. Fang Yuan was unable to take them head-on and had to retreat again and again. Heavenly Court cannot be defeated. Duke Long's punches and kicks exploded the air as they landed on Myriad Year Flying Warship. Myriad Year Flying Warship was like a small raft in a storm. It was sent flying and crashed on the ground. Fang Yuan, here's another move for you. Duke Long charged down like a meteor, wanting to collide directly. Fang Yuan looked at the sky and snorted. Golden lights shone around Myriad Year Flying Warship as the 12 Zodiac battle formation separated and transformed into a gray stone giant. The giant stood on Heavenly Court's ground and waved its hands, attacking Duke Long head-on. Boom! An explosion rang. Duke Long collided with the giant. Killer moves clashed, creating a powerful explosion. The terrifying heat wave inflated like a giant balloon before bursting on the spot. Tornadoes and shock waves engulfed everything. Fang Yuan and the almost crumbling Myriad Year Flying Warship retreated smoothly using this propulsion force. Whoosh! Wind roared as Duke Long's monstrously tall figure suddenly appeared behind Fang Yuan. Immortal killer move. World-shaking dragon hammer. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk rapidly. He did not have the time to even turn around as he activated Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Rumble. Reverse Flow Protection Seal finally reached its limits and broke apart. Fang Yuan suffered Duke Long's attack. Although he had transformed into the immemorial Year Monkey, his back was almost pierced. The enormous force sent Fang Yuan flying. After he fell to the ground, his body was dragged along the ground, leaving behind a long trail of blood and only stopping after crashing through 3 immortal Gu houses. Duke Long gave a muffled groan. His body was shaking. Reverse Flow Protection Seal reflected external attacks. The strength he struck Fang Yuan was also reflected to him in full. he had to suffer an even more serious impact than Fang Yuan. After all, Fang Yuan had reverse flow protection seal to weaken the strength of the attack as well as the powerful body of the immemorial year monkey. Duke Long panted heavily. He was not able to move immediately and concentrated on healing his wounds quickly at the edge of the battlefield. The immortal treasury was already looted clean by Spectral Soul and his servants, but they had yet to find the door of life and death. Strange, the door of life and death was clearly placed here. Fairy Ziwei frowned. Looks like Duke Long has hidden many things from you. Spectral Soul said coldly. The door of life and death was a secluded domain of heaven and earth and contained countless souls. Its importance to Spectral Soul was huge, but unfortunately, they could not find it. Master, Fang Yuan is not able to hold on. Do we give him a hand to maintain the stalemate and get more time for ourselves? Old man Zheng Yuan asked. Spectral Soul gazed at the battlefield, and when he saw Fang Yuan's position, he suddenly smiled. There is no hurry. There is still a venerable who has not made a move yet. Fang Yuan was collapsed in his own pool of blood in front of embroidered tower. 3 bloodskins of reckless savage demon venerable were sown in the air. Blown by the violent winds of the battlefield, these 3 bloodskins actually loosened and waved around like banners. In an instant, Fang Yuan sniffed a dense, fishy stench of blood. Chapter 1954, Pursue Freedom. Fang Yuan's whole body was bathed in blood and filled with injuries. He snorted coldly and stood up, looking at embroidered tower in front of him. Embroidered tower was originally a mortal object that was left by primordial origin immortal venerable to his disciple star constellation as her dowry. But according to the customs back then, its symbolic meaning was much greater. Later, when star constellation became star constellation immortal venerable, she turned embroidered tower into an immortal goo house that had extremely mystical powers. Over 1,000,000 years ago, reckless savage demon venerable invaded Heavenly Court. He stormed through Heavenly Court, passing Immortal Emperor Court, Hidden Space Pavilion, Summer Lake, Eternal Sand Cave, Million Heavenly King Gallery, Embroidered Tower, Central Great Hall, and finally stopping at Heaven Overseeing Tower. Reckless Savage Demon Venerable suffered some loss when he reached Embroidered Tower. Embroidered Tower used its trump card method, Tao Embroidery. 7 embroidery needles flew out elegantly. Reckless Savage Demon Venerable was forced to discard 3 pieces of his skin before he was able to go past it. These 3 bloody skins were sewn into the air by countless Tao mark threads. After that, Embroidered Tower's damage could not be repaired. And later, it was used to attack Spectral Soul in Etion Mountain, the new damage added to the previous ones. This damage ruined Embroidered Tower, and it could not be of any use right now. Not only Fang Yuan, even Duke Long and other Gu immortals saw the movement of the 3 bloody skins in the air above Embroidered Tower. They looked like 3 bloody banners, fluttering savagely in the wind. The left banner had a bird drawn on it. The bird had 6 legs, but no wings. The middle bloody banner had a drawing of a beast which was getting increasingly clearer. It opened its mouth, but had no teeth. The right bloody skin had a fish. It grew increasingly vivid and lifelike, but it was clear that it had no gills. Bloodskins made wild sounds like an ancient gale that crossed 1,000,000 years and roared in people's ears. Or like a grand army that went to battle. Clashes and collisions of steel and horses resounded. The blood banners fluttering continued to amplify in commotion. They were like volcanoes that had been suppressed for countless years, or like wild beasts that had accumulated their energy and was about to strike their prey. Roar. The wild beasts roared. They violently broke the Tao mark threads that bound them, and turned into 3 blood-red lights that landed around Fang Yuan. 3 Beastly bizarre. And resounding roars sounded and the blood-red light dissipated, revealing 3 enormous beasts, a glowing monstrous yellow bird that was like a small mountain. Its 6 legs were thick and rough. Its beak was hard and long, but it had no wings. An azure blue leopard with a big belly was sprawled on the ground. It kept on yawning, and one could see it did not have even a single tooth. And a fish with dark green scales was floating in the air. Its head was raised high, and its mouth was closed tightly. There was no trace of gills next to its eyes. The huge fish was motionless like a jade statue. The immortals were shaken. Even Duke Long's expression turned solemn as he halted his attacks. There is an abnormality in the 3 bloody skins left by reckless savage demon venerable. These 3 monsters have such shocking auras. Did Fang Yuan trigger a venerable's method? Wait a second, these 3 monsters, why do they resemble those 3 recorded in The Legends of Renzu? The Legends of Renzu, Chapter 4 states, Renzu wandered alone on the vast land. His hair was disheveled, and he seemed to have lost his mind. At times, he wailed. At times, he sat down in a daze. And at times, he laughed like a fool. Fate Gu's manipulation had separated him from his children. He also lost wealth Gu. Renzu was forced into a state of madness. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Renzu was at a loss and went crazy again. One morning, a group of birds ran past Renzu. These birds did not have wings. Their 6 legs moved alternately as they ran on the ground, raising clouds of dust in their path. Renzu jumped with joy when he saw these birds. So I am a bird. He also spread his legs and ran wildly, joining the bird group. The birds growled strangely towards Renzu. You are a human. You use 2 legs to walk. You are not a bird. Leave. Don't disturb us. We are pursuing freedom Gu. We want to retrieve our freedom. Renzu asked. Why are you all searching for freedom Gu? The birds said with a heavy tone. We once possessed freedom Gu, but we did not realize that. Only after losing it, we found that we no longer had wings and could not fly anymore. When we regain freedom, we will be able to spread our wings and soar to the sky again. Renzu realized. I understand. Humans also need freedom. If humans don't have freedom, they will be like birds who have lost their wings. Right? I remember now. Renzu clapped and laughed madly. I also need to search for freedom to get rid of fate's shackles. After that, I can go wherever I want to go and be with whomever I want to be forever. The birds casted a strange look at Renzu. Oh human, how can you have such preposterous thoughts? Look at us. How can birds not have wings? So, chasing after freedom is part of our duty. But you humans are destined to be alone. All gatherings will end up in separation. Oh human, you want to pursue freedom, but you also need to abide by your nature. You should not indulge in wild fantasies. Renzu scratched his head, puzzled. Is that how it works? The birds left behind their last words. Oh human, let us give you some sincere advice. If you obtain freedom in the future, you must cherish it. Don't be like us and let go. Don't let freedom Gu fly away. Otherwise you will regret it. After Renzu parted ways with the birds, he slowly forgot his identity and goals once again. One afternoon, a leap of blue leopards passed by him. The insane Renzu saw the group of leopards and shouted in joy. So, I am a leopard. Renzu rushed into the group, but the leopards pushed him away and shouted, You are a human, not a leopard. You use 2 legs to walk, while we have 4 legs. Leave, don't disturb us. We are pursuing freedom Gu. We want to retrieve our freedom. Renzu asked, Why are you searching for freedom Gu? The blue leopards looked depressed. Sigh. We once possessed freedom Gu, but we did not realize it. Only after losing it, we found that we no longer had teeth and could not bite and tear apart our prey. When we regain freedom, we will be able to eat happily again. Renzu realized. I understand. Humans also need freedom. If humans don't have freedom, they will be like beasts with no teeth. Right. Renzu clapped and laughed madly. I need to search for freedom to get rid of fate's shackles. I will possess countless delicacies and wines, endless wealth, and all kinds of comfortable and beautiful clothes. The blue leopards were stunned before laughing loudly as they mocked Renzu. Oh human, how can you have such preposterous thoughts? Look at us. How can beasts not have fangs or claws? So, chasing after freedom is part of our duty. But you humans were born with empty hands and will pass away with nothing. Oh human, you want to pursue freedom, but you also need to abide by your nature. You should not indulge in wild fantasies. Renzu scratched his head, unsatisfied. Is that how it works? The leopards left behind their final words. Oh human, let us give you some sincere advice. If you obtain freedom in the future, you must cherish it. Don't be like us and let go. Don't let freedom Gu fly away. Otherwise you will regret it. After Renzu parted ways with the leopards, he slowly forgot his identity and goals once again. One evening, a school of fish swam past him. Rinzhu saw the fish and shouted in joy. So I am a fish. Rinzhu joined the fish group and tried to swim like them. There was a commotion in the fish group as they pushed Rinzhu away and shouted, "You are a human, not a fish. You use 2 legs to walk, while we have no legs. Leave, don't disturb us. We are pursuing freedom, Gu. We want to retrieve our freedom." Rinzhu asked, "Why are you searching for freedom, Gu?" The fish sighed. "We once possessed freedom, Gu, but we did not realize that. Only after losing it, we found that we no longer had gills and could not breathe in the water again. When we regain freedom, we will be able to swim in the water again." Rinzhu realized, "I understand. Humans also need freedom. If humans don't have freedom, they will be like fish with no gills and cannot breathe." "Right." Rinzhu clapped and laughed madly. "I need to search for freedom to get rid of fate's shackles. I will breathe freely and live on forever. I want eternal life." The fish sneered. "Oh human, how can you have such preposterous thoughts? Look at us, a fish must have gills, so chasing after freedom is part of our duty. But you humans are destined to have no relation with eternal life. You will die of old age and illnesses. Oh human, you want to pursue freedom, but you also need to abide by your nature. You should not indulge in wild fantasies." Rinzhu frowned, feeling irritated. "Is that how it works?" The fishes left behind their final words. "Oh human, let us give you some sincere advice. If you obtain freedom in the future, you must cherish it. Don't be like us and let go. Don't let freedom Gu fly away. Otherwise you will regret it." After Rinzhu parted ways with the fishes, he slowly forgot the advice of the birds, leopards, and the fish. "I am a human. I need to pursue freedom. I need to get rid of the shackles of fate. I want to live forever with my loved ones. I want to enjoy life with enough wealth. I want to live on forever." Many beings that walked past Rinzhu heard him. They shook their heads and stayed away from him. "Let's quickly leave. He is Rinzhu, and he is talking nonsense again. He has already gone mad completely. How could he dare to have such thoughts?" One day, Freedom Gu flew towards Rinzhu on its own accord. Rinzhu was joyous as he grabbed it. "Oh freedom, I finally obtained freedom." Rinzhu was extremely happy, but also felt puzzled as he asked Freedom Gu, "This is really strange. The wingless birds are pursuing you. The toothless beasts are pursuing you. The gill-less fish are pursuing you. But you flew to me. What is going on here?" Freedom Gu replied, "I didn't fly to you. Human, you once used attitude Gu to bully me, used love to bind me, and used wealth to bribe me. I loathe and hate you. I flew over because I was attracted by the cognition Gu on you." Cognition Gu floated out of Rinzhu's body and explained with a smile, "Rinzhu, because you have gone mad. You are thinking deliriously all the time. A human that desires companionship forever. A human who has an extravagant hope of living a life with no worries. A human who pursues eternal life. What else can this be other than a lunatic?" Freedom Gu sighed. "Freedom of cognition is the greatest freedom. These delirious thoughts can strengthen me. Rinzhu, although you captured me, I will never work for you. Release me now." Rinzhu shook his head and grasped even tighter. "Freedom Gu, I will not let you go." Freedom Gu sneered. "Then prepare yourself. Don't collapse from the pressure." The moment it finished speaking, responsibility Gu flew over, pressing on Rinzhu's shoulder. Heavy, so heavy. Rinzhu almost bent over from the pressure. Cognition Gu sighed. "Freedom and responsibility coexist. Oh Rinzhu, you want to obtain freedom, so you need to shoulder the responsibility. At least, you need to be responsible for yourself." Rinzhu clenched his teeth and persevered. Sweat flowed down his body like a river. Soon, he knelt down on the ground. He saw spider webs again. Fake Gu's spider silk wrapped around his whole body. Rinzhu was barely shouldering the heavy responsibility and had no strength to break free from the spider silk's bindings. Fake Gu's spider silk constricted tightly, forming blood wounds everywhere on Rinzhu's body. Rinzhu shouted, "What is going on?" Cognition Gu explained, "Oh human, the more freedom you experience, the more you will feel the restriction around you." Freedom Gu laughed. "Just let me go. The longer you hold on to me, the more spider silk will bind you. The binding will become tighter and will even constrict you to death." Rinzhu shook his head. "No, I won't let go. Oh Freedom Gu, I must have you." Countless spider silk pierced into Rinzhu's flesh. Renzu howled in pain and rolled on the ground, but did not let go. Ha! Renzu began laughing foolishly again. I can sense a goof far away. Just this feeling alone makes me happy and satisfied. Cognition Gu admitted frankly. That is natural. Whoever obtains freedom Gu will also be able to sense the location of happiness Gu. Renzu continued to persevere. He cried in pain at times and laughed happily at other times. The spider silk constricted tightly, tearing into his bones and leaving deep marks on them. But Renzu still did not loosen his hands in the end. He fainted from the pain. After a long time, he slowly woke up. Fate Gu spider silk was no longer constricting him. Responsibility Gu also did not exert heavy pressure, while cognition Gu had disappeared. Wait, what about freedom Gu? Renzu did not sense freedom Gu's existence, and in his moment of panic, he opened his hands. The moment a gap appeared, freedom Gu flew away and left Renzu behind. Humans often did not understand freedom when they possessed it. Only after losing it, they would come to a sudden realization. Renzu was stunned when he saw freedom Gu flying away. He remembered the advice of the birds, leopards, and fish. He felt extremely regretful. He tore out his hair painfully and rolled on the ground. I am better off dead. Renzu was overwhelmed with grief. I would rather lose love. I would rather lose my life. I don't want to lose freedom. Chapter 1955, Crucial Person at the Crucial Time. In Heavenly Court's battlefield, be they enemies or allies, everyone's gazes were gathered at one place. Fang Yuan looked around him. He was surrounded by the three giant monsters. But the three giant monsters did not do anything to him. They were instead guarding him and looking at the surroundings with hostility. Their affiliation could be seen with one glance. Reckless savage demon venerable. Fang Yuan's expression was one of shock. Even if reckless savage demon venerable's method is helping you, you will still be defeated. Duke Long shouted, his voice resounding throughout the surroundings. He swooped down from the air like a red meteor. His determination did not waver even in front of reckless savage demon venerable's method. He was going to exterminate all demons. He would quell all opposition in the world. Immortal killer move. Chi Breath Mountain. Duke Long's palms aimed at Fang Yuan from afar and pushed. Rumble. With a loud sound, a giant Chi mountain pressed down towards Fang Yuan and the three monsters. Through triple Chi retraction, Duke Long had a massive amount of Chi Path Dao marks. Right now, all his Chi Path killer moves like Chi Breath Mountain had their power amplified by countless times. This Chi mountain was much larger than before. Its composition was also extremely solid. Be it in quality or quantity, both had a breakthrough. Seeing this scene, whether it was Wu Yong, Bing Sai Chuan, or others, they all revealed solemn expressions. Just this Chi Breath Mountain was difficult to resist. The best method was to dodge. But after Chi Breath Mountain, there was a monstrous expert like Duke Long who could block all escape routes. Fang Yuan clenched his teeth and was about to move. But right at this moment, one of the three monsters transformed from the blood skins. The giant blue leopard suddenly opened its mouth and took a deep breath. Boom. The whole Chi Breath Mountain shrank rapidly and was absorbed by some formless force into the blue leopard's belly. The immortals were given a great shock. Food path cultivator. Zhao Shan He's pupils shrank as he saw signs of food path from the blue leopard's body. Even Duke Long was stunned. This powerful Chi Breath Mountain was actually broken this directly. After the blue leopard swallowed the Chi Breath Mountain, its shriveled belly bulged by 10%. Its eyes glistened as it stared at Duke Long with a chilling gaze like it was looking at a luxurious dinner. Duke Long was utterly fearless. The three monsters might be unfathomable, but he still charged towards Fang Yuan. His speed even increased, bursting the air and producing sonic booms. Fang Yuan was fully prepared for combat when one of the three monsters, the green fish, moved. It only waved its tail slightly when it appeared before Duke Long all of a sudden. Its speed was so fast that it looked like instant teleportation, but it did not feel abrupt at all. Everything happened smoothly and fluidly. Duke Long's field of vision had been wide a second ago, but now his whole sight was filled with the enormous body of the fish monster. The fish monster slammed its head fiercely. Boom. The monster's head directly sent Duke Long flying with speed that was faster than earlier when he arrived. He possessed transformation path, and chi path down marks, he was unprecedentedly strong. After using triple chi retraction several times, he did not even need 9 dragons protection to guard against ordinary rank 8 attacks. But when he knocked into the fish monster's head, he felt like he had used his bare fist to strike a boulder. In an instant, all the bones in Duke Long's body shattered. His internal organs almost burst from the force. There were massive amounts of internal and external bleeding. Triple chi retraction. Duke Long shouted. His sharply declining chi surged immediately. Duke Long immediately activated chi path healing methods, and with shocking speed, his injuries recovered in a few breaths of time. But because he chose to heal himself, he let himself crash through all the way, directly crashing into the boundary of Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court was a shared grotto heaven. Its limits were the aperture walls. Duke Long crashed into the aperture walls. The enormous force that still remained in his body poured into the aperture walls in the sky. The immortals heard a loud collision. Then they saw several cracks suddenly appearing in the sky behind Duke Long, before quickly spreading like a spider web. The immortals could not help but draw in sharp breaths. The strength of the fish monster's attack was simply unimaginable. Even Duke Long seemed to be unable to resist it, and the fish monster was only an arrangement left behind by reckless savage demon Venerable. It had already existed for over 1,000,000 years, but it still had such might that if so, how much strength did reckless savage demon Venerable, who left this method, have? Simply unimaginable. The immortals recalled the evaluation about reckless savage demon Venerable. He was publicly recognized as the Venerable with the highest physical strength, and now they saw this sight. It was truly so. This is reckless savage demon Venerable's method. We have not lost yet. We can still fight. Lord Duke Long has returned. His injuries have recovered, and his aura has become even stronger. What are you afraid of? We have the fully repaired Fate Gu. The heavenly fate sides with us. The 3 regions Gu immortals felt shocked and exulted at the unexpected reinforcements of 3 powerful beings, and their morale soared. Heavenly Court's immortals similarly had a high morale. They had complete confidence in Fate Gu, and Duke Long once again swooped in and fought with the 3 monsters. But he learned his lesson this time and prioritized using Chi Path's long-range attacks, avoiding close combat. These 3 giant monsters' strength was truly horrifying. Even Duke Long did not want to be sent flying so miserably again. His battle tactic was wise. The 3 giant monsters had terrifying strength, but they had almost no methods. After exchanging a dozen or so moves, Duke Long got a clearer understanding of them. The 6-legged yellow bird's speed was extremely fast and could shoot out yellow lightning from its mouth, but it was unable to fly. Its beak was extremely hard and sharp, even able to pierce through immortal Gu houses. The green fish monster could float around with speed that was akin to teleportation of space path. It appeared extremely seamlessly and caught enemies off guard. It could recover from any attacks almost instantaneously. Its strongest aspect was this, a horrifying regeneration rate that was much stronger than Duke Long using his Chi Path healing methods. But it had a weakness. Its attack was fierce, but the tempo was slow. The frequency of attacks was also quite low. After attacking once, it would be still for a while before it could attack again. As for the toothless blue leopard, it could fly by stepping on air. Its strongest method was to devour all attacks. Not only this, it could even devour the heroes among people killer move from Gu immortals' bodies. This sight made Zhao Shanhe feel dazzled. His food path methods were far from being able to devour amplifications. This contained food path profundities that he did not possess. If he could comprehend this, his enlightenment of food path would definitely progress one step further. At the same time, the toothless blue leopard's greatest weakness was also this almost innate devouring ability. Every time it devoured, its belly would bulge. After Duke Long and others intentionally fed it various attacks, the toothless blue leopard's belly had become round and full. It started having trouble moving. However, even though Heavenly Court's side had probed the 3 monsters' details, they still could not defend against them and were gradually falling into a disadvantage. The 3 monsters had flaws. Their strengths and weaknesses were extremely conspicuous. But no one dared to block their brutish rampage. Adding in Fang Yuan, Wu Yong, Bing Sai Chuan, Shun Song Sheng, Song Chi Yuan, and the rest supporting from the side, as well as restraining and getting rid of Heavenly Court's various methods. Heavenly Court's side was in a passive situation. The three monsters' target was Heaven Overseeing Tower. They seemed to have an enormous hatred towards Fate Gu. Heaven Overseeing Tower did not dare to confront the three monsters' power. It could only retreat. Constantly. To defend Heaven Overseeing Tower, Duke Long shouldered huge pressure and was heavily injured time and time again, retreating to heal his injuries before joining the battle again. His purple hair was swaying wildly. His eyes were bloodshot. His whole body was bathed in blood that dyed his scales completely. His fighting spirit kept on rising. It had not fallen once. Both sides fought around the three monsters and Heaven Overseeing Tower. The attacks went back and forth. It was highly intense. The battle kept on moving. Wherever it went, the aftermath of the terrifying killer moves destroyed everything, creating countless ruins. The great heavenly court that was managed meticulously by Gu immortals was heavily damaged from this battle. Just as the three regions Gu immortals were firmly holding onto the upper hand, Heaven Overseeing Tower suddenly stopped, the next moment. Immortal killer move Fate Vanquish burst out again. Careful! Wu Yong shouted. The three regions Gu immortals were already on guard and reacted quickly. After the white light dissipated, explosions resounded in Heavenly Court battlefield once again as the battle resumed. But this time, Heavenly Court held the momentum. The three regions Gu immortals could only defend while repairing the immortal Gu houses and their own injuries. The three regions Gu immortals gradually found their footing. Compared to the first Fate Vanquish attack, their situation was much better. The reason was that they had three giant monsters to rely on. The giant monsters rampaged around the battlefield. Under their attacks, Heavenly Court Gu immortals were gradually dragged into a stalemate before being suppressed by the three regions Gu immortals again. This time, Heaven Overseeing Tower activated Fate Vanquish again. After this happened over and over again, the whole of Heavenly Court was filled with ruins. The three monsters' aura had clearly fallen. The Gu immortals' offense was also not as fierce as before. They were at a point where they had to consider the issue of immortal essence expenditure. Damn it, the situation is becoming increasingly bad. Wu Yong's face was solemn. The three monsters were weakening from the repeated devastation of Fate Vanquish. Back then, Reckless Savage Demon Venerable failed in his invasion of Heavenly Court. These three giant monsters are only arrangements left by him. They naturally won't be able to resist the power of Fate Vanquish. Bing Sichuan's heart was turning cold. If the three regions Gu immortals failed to obtain a breakthrough when the three monsters were still active, they would definitely suffer a miserable and disastrous defeat after that. This was something extremely obvious, but Heavenly Court's side used the wisest battle tactic. They moved continuously while avoiding the enemy's attacks, making the enemy expend more energy. Especially when Fate Vanquish activated, the advantage the three regions Gu immortals obtained with difficulty turned into nothing. Everything went back to square one. And because they had Demon Judgment Board and Heaven Overseeing Tower, there was always a base camp around the front lines. The moment the Heavenly Court Gu immortals faced danger, they could hide inside. Thus, there were no casualties. Naturally, this was also because the offense had weakened as both sides were beginning to conserve immortal essence. Master, the situation does not look good. Even Reckless Savage Demon Venerable's method cannot change the outcome. The current Heavenly Court has an intact Fate Gu after all. Far away, Fairy Ziwei was analyzing coolly. Spectral Soul had already recovered his human form, but his body was translucent. He held his hands behind his back as he observed the battlefield before glancing at the faraway Imperfection Regret Pavilion. Inside Imperfection Regret Pavilion, the two venerable silhouettes were still playing chess. The chessboard was already filled with chess pieces, but the mysterious thing was whenever the venerable silhouette put down a piece, there would always be another free spot. However, compared to before, the frequency of the two venerables placing the chess pieces had reduced by a lot. Star Constellation Silhouette held a chess piece and looked at the chessboard before glancing towards Spectral Soul's direction. Are you okay with this? Spectral Soul stole a portion of the results of our game. Star Constellation Silhouette said. Limitless Silhouette laughed. Since he could get free and even steal our results, this is his own capability. These gains will help him. I am looking forward to the day when he can reach the realm that we were unable to reach. Star constellation's silhouette was silent for a while before sighing. You are truly a pure Tao pursuer. Unfortunately, heaven and earth is a cage that stopped me from pursuing my Tao. Limitless silhouette said, which is why I want to pursue freedom. Star constellation's silhouette immediately refuted. Your freedom, however, will break this cage. And we both know what kind of scenery exists outside this cage. Limitless silhouette shook his head. Our positions are different. Saying anything else is of no benefit. His silhouette was becoming increasingly illusory right now. Only his eyes were still bright and letting out sharp lights. Limitless silhouette held a chess piece and looked at the chessboard for a long while. But he did not place the piece. This match had already reached the most crucial point on the chessboard. Limitless silhouette's situation was very bad. He was greatly disadvantaged. His pieces were surrounded from every direction by star constellation silhouette's chess pieces. She had an obvious superiority. Even though it was because of heavenly quartz accumulations, it was enough for limitless silhouette to see the strength of his opponent, star constellation. Star constellation's will was resisting heaven's will on one hand, while also making arrangements throughout the 5 regions. She thought of countless aspects. Her plan spanned across the past and present, throughout the universe. Forget about the arrangements that made 3 venerables invasions fail. Just look at the current situation. Spectral Soul had regained freedom, but did not obtain the door of life and death. This was probably Star Constellation's ploy. Even Fairy Z Wei was in the dark, which was not likely to happen with just Duke Long's scheming ability. Indeed, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was worthy of being the only wisdom path venerable in history. However, Limitless Silhouette had not lost yet. His main chess pieces were all gathered together. The opponent could hardly defeat them. A forceful attack would definitely result in heavy losses, and it would also give the initiative to Limitless Silhouette instead. But for Limitless Silhouette to counterattack and break through by himself, he was still lacking some strength. The whole encirclement was a dense congregation of the plans of Star Constellation Silhouette. If Limitless Silhouette attacked rashly, he would fall into a trap. Thus, Limitless Silhouette could only choose to defend while waiting for reinforcement. This game between 2 venerables that had started in the olden antiquity era and continued for 1,000,000 years, it had finally welcomed the most crucial moment. Indeed, Limitless Silhouette still had reinforcements. He had waited for 1,000,000 years for this aid. Both sides were aware of it. Now, we have to see the quality of our pieces. Star Constellation's silhouette swept her gaze through the battlefield. When it stopped at Fang Yuan's body, her gaze revealed complicated expressions that Limitless Silhouette was similarly looking in the same direction, mumbling. "Oh, Fang Yuan, you have been like this since the start. How long are you planning to conceal your abilities?"